Chapter 13. The Two Marys. There are two serpents, the one that rises through the medullary channel and the one that descends. In white magicians the serpent rises because they do not spill the semen. In black magicians the serpent descends because they do spill the semen. The serpent rising through the medullary channel is the virgin. The serpent descending from the coccyx towards the atomic infernos of nature is the Santa Maria of black magic and of witchcraft. Here are the two Marys, the white and the black. White magicians abhor the black Santa Maria. Black magicians mortally hate the white Virgin Mary. Whoever dares to name the Virgin is immediately attacked by the tenebrous. When the initiate is working in the great work, he has to struggle terribly against the adepts of Santa Maria. The creative forces are triple, masculine, feminine, and neutral. Those great forces flow downwards from above. Whoever wants to regenerate himself has to change this movement and make these creative energies return inwards and upwards. This is even contrary to the interests of nature. The tenebrous then feel offended and attack the initiate terribly. The lady adepts of the black hand sexually assault the initiate in order to discharge him. This occurs especially during sleep. Thus wet dreams occur. The student dreams of beautiful women who discharge him sexually to hinder in him the ascent of the fire through the medullary channel. The tenebrous in the abyss adore Santa Maria and sing to her sublimely malign verses. White magicians adore the Virgin, which, as the serpent of fire rises through the medullary channel, and upon her they rest their heads as the child in the arms of his adorable mother. In India, Kali the divine mother Kundalini is adored, but Kali in her fatal black aspect is also adored. These are the two Marys, the white and the black, the two serpents, the one of copper that cured the Israelites in the wilderness, and the other, the tempting serpent of Eden. There are white initiations and black initiations, temples of light and temples of darkness. All grades and all initiations are based in the serpent. When it ascends we become angels, when it descends we become devils. We will now relate a black initiation exactly as we investigated it. In the moments of a sleep, the aspirant was taken from the physical body. The festival of the demons took place in a street. All those attending were in the astral body. The neophyte practiced negative sexual magic with the loss of semen. In this way he was progressing in the science of the demons. They came to the festival dressed in black tunics. The festival was a true witch's Sabbath. When the orgy had finished, the adepts of the left hand led their beloved disciple towards a yellow temple which was a cavern of black magic. Seen from the outside the temple appeared to be a humble religious chapel. Inside it was a magnificent palace. Inside the temple there were 2 floors or levels and magnificent corridors through which the tenebrous passed. The adepts of the shadow congratulated the candidate on his evil triumphs. It was horrible to see the adepts of Santa Maria. The candidate felt at home. The devil's tail was visible on those astral ghosts. The festival of darkness was magnificent. A priest of the abyss climbed upon a rock to give a sermon. This ghost was a sincere but mistaken person. A man of good intentions but fatally lost. This adept of the shadows said solemnly, "I shall be loyal to my religion, nothing will make me take a step back. This is sacred." Later the tenebrous one continued with a long discourse that was applauded by everyone. The guest of honor who had had the misfortune to awaken Kundalini in a negative form was marked with a fatal seal. That mark was triangular and had black and gray lines. Before using it the seal was first placed in the fire. The mark of the seal was placed beneath the left lung. The tenebrous gave to the disciple a fatal name, and this was engraved in black letters on the left forearm. This new black initiate was then led before a statue of terribly malign beauty which symbolized the black goddess, the kingdom of Santa Maria. The disciple, sitting before this statue, crossed his legs in anagarika style with the left over the right. He then placed his hands on his waist and concentrated on the fatal goddess. After everything, the tenebrous one returned to his physical body, happy with his triumph. Here ends the investigation carried out by us in relation with the initiations of the abyss. All those who follow the path of the perfect matrimony will have to defend themselves against the tenebrous. They try to take the devotee from the real path to make him a member of the Black Lodge. When they accomplish their objective, then the student is taken to the banquet of demons. The struggle is terrible, brain against sex, sex against brain, and what is most terrible and most painful, that of heart against heart. This you know. We need to crucify all the human attachments, abandon all that which signifies carnal passion. This is extremely difficult. The past screams, clamors, cries, beg. This is terribly painful. The Superman is the result of a tremendous revolution of consciousness. Those who believe that the mechanical evolution of nature can turn us into masters are absolutely mistaken. The master is the result of a tremendous revolution of consciousness. We need to fight against nature and against the shadow of nature. Chapter 14. The Work with the Demon. The awakening of Kundalini and the dissolution of the I form precisely the fundamental basis of all profound realizations. In this chapter we shall deal with the theme of the dissolution of the I. This is definitive for the final liberation. The I is the demon that we carry within. Concerning this affirmation, we can say that the work of the dissolution of the I is really the work with the demon. This work is very difficult. When we work with the demon, tenebrous entities usually attack us terribly. This is really the way of the astute man, the famous fourth way, the path of Tao. The origin of the pluralized I, lust, is the origin of the sinful I. The ego, Satan, is subject to the law of eternal return of all things. It returns to new wombs in order to satisfy desires. In each one of its lives the I repeats the same dramas, the same errors. The I complicates itself through time, each time becoming more and more perverse. The death of Satan, the Satan that we carry within, is composed of atoms of the secret enemy. Satan had a beginning, Satan has an end. We need to dissolve Satan to return to the interior star that has always smiled upon us. This is the true final liberation. Only by dissolving the I can we attain absolute liberation. The intimate star in the undiscovered depths of our divine being, we have an interior star, completely atomic. This star is a superdivine atom. The Kabbalists give it the sacred name of Ein Sof. This is the being of our being, the great reality within us. God does not evolve. God does not need to evolve because He is perfect. God does not need to perfect Himself. He is perfect. God is our internal being. Evolution and involution. We, the Gnostics, have never denied the law of evolution, but we do not accept such a mechanical law as dogma. The laws of evolution and involution are the mechanical axis of nature. For every ascent there follows a descent, to all evolution there corresponds a specific involution. There is evolution in the seed that germinates, and in the shoot which grows and develops, and in the plant that bears fruit. There is involution in the tree that no longer grows, withers away, becomes old and dies. Total revolution. We need a tremendous revolution of consciousness to achieve the return to the interior star that guides our being. When we dissolve the I, there is total revolution. Pain cannot make anyone perfect. If pain made anyone perfect, then all humanity would already be perfect. Pain is the result of our own errors. Satan commits many errors. Satan reaps the fruit of his errors. This fruit is pain. Pain is satanic. Satan cannot perfect himself, nor can he make anyone perfect. Pain cannot make anything perfect because pain is of Satan. The great divine reality is happiness, peace, abundance, and perfection. The great reality cannot create pain. What is perfect cannot create pain. What is perfect can only engender happiness. Pain was created by the I, Satan. Time is Satan. Satan is memory. Satan is a bundle of memories. When a man dies, only his memories remain. These memories form the I, the myself, the reincarnating ego. Those unsatisfied desires, those memories of yesterday reincarnate. Thus we are slaves of the past. The 7 fundamental centers of man: 1. The intellectual, located in the brain. 2. The motor or movement center, located in the upper part of the spinal column. 3. The emotional center, which is found in the solar plexus and in the specific nervous centers of the great sympathetic system. 4. The instinctive center, located in the lower part of the spinal column. 5. The sexual, located in the genital organs. 6. The superior emotional. 7. The superior mental. These last 2 can only express themselves through the authentic astral body, the legitimate mental body. Technique for the dissolution of the I. The I exerts control over the 5 inferior centers of the human machine. These 5 centers are intellect, movement, emotion, instinct, and sex. The 2 centers of the human machine that correspond to the Christ consciousness are known in occultism as the Christ mind and the Christ astral. These 2 superior centers cannot be controlled by the I. Unfortunately, the superior mind and we can be assured that the past conditions are present life. We can affirm that Satan is time. We can say without fear of making a mistake that time cannot free us from this valley of tears because time is satanic. We have to learn how to live from moment to moment. Life is an eternal now, an eternal present. Satan was the creator of time. Those who think to liberate themselves in a distant future, within a few million years, with the passing of time and the ages, are sure candidates for the abyss and the second death because time is of Satan. Time liberates no one. Satan enslaves. Satan does not liberate. We need to liberate ourselves right now. We need to live from instant to instant. Every human being has 7 basic, fundamental centers. Let us see, superior emotion does not yet have these 2 precious Christic vehicles at their disposal. When the superior mind is clothed with the Christ mind and when the superior emotion is invested with the Christ astral, really we are elevated to the state of the true human being. Everyone who wishes to dissolve the I should study its functions in the 5 inferior centers. We should not condemn the defects, neither should we justify them. The important thing is to comprehend them. It is urgent to comprehend the actions and reactions of the human machine. Each one of these 5 inferior centers has a set of very complicated actions and reactions. The I works with each of these 5 inferior centers, and comprehending deeply the whole mechanism of each of these centers, we are on the way to dissolving the I. In everyday life 2 people react differently to the same event. What is agreeable for one person can be disagreeable for another. Many times the difference is that one person can judge and see with the mind, and the other's emotions are touched. We should learn to differentiate between mind and emotion. The mind is one thing and emotion another. In the mind there is a whole set of actions and reactions that must be comprehended. In the feelings there are attachments that should be crucified, emotions that should be carefully studied, and in general a whole mechanism of actions and reactions that are easily confused with the activities of the mind. The intellectual center. This center is useful within its orbit. The mistake lies in wanting to take it out of its gravitational field. The great realities of the spirit can only be experienced with the consciousness. Those who endeavor to investigate the transcendental truths of the being on a purely rational basis make the same mistake as someone who, ignoring the use and management of modern scientific instruments, tries to study the life of the infinitely small with telescopes and the life of the infinitely large with microscopes. Movement. We need to discover ourselves and to profoundly comprehend all our habits. We should not allow our life to continue to unfold mechanically. It seems incredible that we, living within the forms of our habits, do not know these forms which condition our lives. We need to study our habits. We need to comprehend them. These belong to the activities of the center of movement. It is necessary that we self-observe the way we live, act, dress, walk, etc. The center of movement has many activities. Sport also belongs to the center of movement. When the mind interferes with this center, it obstructs and causes damage, because it is very slow and the center of movement is very fast. All typists work with the center of movement and, as is natural, may make mistakes at the keyboard if the mind begins to intervene. A man driving a car could have an accident if the mind intervenes. The emotional center. The human being stupidly wastes the sexual energy with the abuse of violent emotions, cinema, television, football games, etc. We should learn to dominate our emotions. It is necessary to save our sexual energies. Instinct. There are various instincts. The instincts of preservation, the sexual instinct, etc. There are also many perversions of instinct. Deep within every human being there are brutal, subhuman instinctive forces that paralyze the true spirit of love and charity. These demonic forces should first be comprehended, then brought under control and eliminated. These bestial forces are criminal instincts, lust, cowardliness, fear, sexual sadism, sexual bestiality, etc. We need to study and profoundly comprehend these subhuman forces before being able to dissolve and eliminate them. Sex is the fifth power of the human being. Sex can liberate or enslave man. No one can attain integrity, no one can profoundly realize himself without the sexual force. No celibate can achieve total realization. Sex is the power of the soul. The integral human being is achieved with the absolute fusion of the masculine and feminine pales of the soul. The sexual force develops, evolves, and progresses on 7 levels, the 7 levels of the soul. In the physical world, sex is a blind force of mutual attraction. In astral, sexual attraction is based on the affinity of types according to their polarities and essences. In the mental world, sexual attraction takes place according to the laws of polarity and mental affinity. On the causal plane, sexual attraction is realized on the basis of conscious will. It is precisely on this plane of natural causes where the complete union of the soul is consciously realized. In fact, no one can attain the complete glory of the perfect matrimony without having reached this fourth state of human integration. We need to profoundly comprehend the whole sexual problem. We need to be integral. We need to transcend the mechanics of sex. We need to know how to procreate children of wisdom. At the supreme instant of conception, the human essences are completely open to all kinds of influences. The state of purity of the parents and their force of will to not spill the cup of Hermes is all that can protect them from the danger that the spermatozoon and the ovum may be infiltrated by the subhuman substances of the bestial egos, which wish to reincarnate. The absolute death of Satan by comprehending the intimate activities of each of the 5 inferior centers, we discover the whole process of the I. The result of this self-discovery is the absolute death of Satan. The tenebrous lunar, adultery, the woman, being the receptive, passive element clearly collects and stores the results of the sexual act with all those men who commit adultery with her. Those results are atomic substances from the men with whom she has had sexual intercourse. When a man has sexual relations with a woman who has been with another man or other men, he then absorbs atomic essences of the other men and poisons himself with them. This is a very grave problem for the brothers who are dissolving the I, because then, not only do they have to fight against their own errors and defects, but also, in addition, against the errors and defects of those other men with whom the woman had sexual contact. The root of pain, the I, is the root of pain. The I is the root of ignorance and error. When the I is dissolved, within us only remains the internal Christ. It is necessary to dissolve the I. Only by dissolving the I do ignorance and error disappear. When the I disappears, all that remains within us is that which is called love. When the I dissolves, authentic and legitimate happiness comes to us. Only by completely, totally annihilating desire can we achieve the dissolution of the I. If we want to annihilate the I, we need to be like the lemon. The I is the horrifying Satan, the horrible demon who has made our life so bitter and nauseating. Chapter 15. Celibacy. Swami X said the following in one of his lessons. Unmarried people can unite spiritually within themselves the natural creative force of the soul by learning the correct method of meditation and its application to the physical life. Such people do not have to pass through the material experience of matrimony. They can learn to marry their feminine impulse with the masculine of their internal soul. If our beloved Gnostic disciples reflect on these words of Swami X, they will reach the conclusion that they are manifestly absurd. This idea of marrying the feminine physical impulse with the masculine of the internal soul is 100% false. This type of utopian marriage is impossible because man has not yet incarnated the soul. With whom then is he going to marry his physical feminine impulse? The intellectual animal still does not have a soul. Whoever desires to incarnate his soul, whoever wants to be a man with soul, must have the body's astral, mental, and causal. The human being as he is still does not have these internal vehicles. The astral ghost, the mental ghost, and the causal ghost are only ghosts. The majority of occultists believe that these internal ghosts are the true vehicles, and they are very mistaken. We need to be born in the superior worlds, and the question of being born is a sexual problem. No human being is born of theory. Not even a simple microbe can be born of theories. No one is born through the nostrils, nor through the mouth. Every living being is born of sex. As above, so below. If man is born of sex here in the physical world, it is logical that above, in the internal worlds, the process is analogous. Law is law and the law is fulfilled. The Christ astral is born as the body of flesh and blood is born. That is sexual. Only with sexual magic between husband-arid wives can one give birth to that marvelous body. We can say the same of the mental and the causal. We need to engender those internal bodies, and that is only possible with sexual contact because, as above so below arid, as below so above. No celibate can marry his feminine physical impulse with the masculine one of his internal soul, because no celibate can incarnate his soul. To incarnate the soul we must engender the internal bodies, and only through the sexual union of man and woman can they be engendered. No single man or any single woman can engender or conceive. The two poles are necessary to create. That is life. It is necessary to engender the internal vehicles. It is necessary to be born in the superior worlds. Celibacy is an absolutely false path. We need the perfect matrimony. After birth, each vehicle needs its special nourishment. Only with its special nourishment does it develop and strengthen itself totally. The nourishment of these vehicles is based on the hydrogen. In the physical organism, different types of hydrogen are produced with which the different internal bodies of man are nourished. Laws of the bodies. Physical body. This is governed by 48 laws. Its basic nourishment is hydrogen 48. Astral body. This vehicle is subject to 24 laws. Its basic nourishment is hydrogen 24. Mental body. This vehicle is subject to 12 laws. Its basic nourishment is hydrogen 12. Causal body. This vehicle is governed by 6 laws. Its basic nourishment is hydrogen 6. Every substance is transformed into a specific type of hydrogen. Thus, just as the substances and life forms are infinite, so also the hydrogen is infinite. The internal bodies have their special hydrogen and they are nourished with these. Swami X was only a monk. We have been told that soon this good monk will reincarnate in order to marry and achieve profound self-realization. He is a fine disciple of the White Lodge. In the superior worlds he thought himself to be realized. In the temple he was greatly surprised when we had to make known to him his mistake. Really, this good monk had not yet engendered his cryptic bodies, he needs to engender them. This is a sexual problem. These marvelous internal bodies can only be engendered with sexual magic. We advise our critics that we are not speaking against Swami X. His exercises are marvelous and very useful, but we wish to make it clear that nobody can achieve profound self-realization with the bellows system. There are very many schools. All of them are necessary. All of them serve to help the human being, but it is good to warn that no theory can engender the internal bodies. We have never seen anyone born from any theory. The first human being born of theory is unknown to us. There are many very respectable and venerable schools. These institutions have their courses of instruction and their degrees. Some of these also have rituals of initiation, but in the superior worlds the degrees and initiations from these schools are of no use. The masters of the White Lodge are not interested in the degrees and the hierarchies of the physical world. They are only interested in Kundalini. They examine and measure the spinal column. If the candidate has not raised the serpent, he is for them an ordinary person like any other, although he may occupy some high position in the physical world, or be a venerable person or some supreme hierarch in his school or lodge. If the Kundalini has arisen 3 vertebrae, he is considered by the masters to be an initiate of the 3rd degree, and if only 1 vertebra, an initiate of the 1st degree. Thus, the masters are only interested in Kundalini. Really, those who abandon everything to work in their cavern with their eagle and their serpent are very few. This is something for heroes, and the present humanity does not abandon its lodges and schools to remain alone with its eagle and its serpent. The students of all the organizations are not even loyal to their schools. They live, flitting from lodge to lodge, from school to school, and thus they say they wish to achieve profound realization. We feel infinite pain when we watch these capricious brethren. Many of them practice marvelous exercises. Certainly there are many good practices in all schools. The practices of Yogananda, Vivekananda, Ramakaraka, etc., are admirable. Students practice them with very good intentions. There are very sincere students. We value greatly all these students and all these schools. However, we feel great and irremediable pain for they who, with such yearning, seek their final liberation. We know that they must engender their internal bodies. We know that they must practice sexual magic. We know that only thus, with sexual magic, will they awaken the sacred fire and engender their internal vehicles to incarnate their soul. We know this through our own experience. Nevertheless, What can we do to convince them? We, the brothers, suffer greatly, and without remedy. In the past Earth Moon, millions of human beings evolved, and of all those millions only a few hundred elevated themselves to the angelic state. The great majority of human beings were lost. The great majority were submerged in the abyss. Many are called and few are chosen. If we observe nature, we can see that not all seeds germinate. Millions of seeds are lost, and millions of creatures perish daily. A sad truth it is, but it is the truth. Every celibate is a sure candidate for the abyss and the second death. Only those who have elevated themselves to the state of the Superman can give themselves the luxury of enjoying the delights of love, without sexual contact. We penetrate then the amphitheater of cosmic science. Nobody can attain the incarnation of the Superman in himself without sexual magic and the perfect matrimony.